Hi, I'm Courtney and welcome back to Haven's Kitchen. Today we'll be making barbecue roasted spatchcocked chicken with potatoes. I love this recipe because spatchcocking, while it seems pretty intimidating, is actually really easy, and I'll be showing you how to do that today. And you also get a full hearty meal in under an hour. If this recipe sounds like something you'd like to make, be sure to subscribe to see our future videos when they drop. All right, let's get started. So today we're going to be using a sheet pan with a rack on it, which is really going to help us get full circulation of air underneath our chicken, which is going to prevent us from getting that sort of soggy underside that you can sometimes get when you roast directly in a cast iron pan or directly on a sheet tray. We'll also be using a sharp pair of kitchen shears. These are going to make the spatchcocking process of your chicken much easier. In addition to that, the rest of this recipe is super simple. We'll just be taking some fingerling potatoes that have been cut in half, of course, our beautiful tangy barbecue sauce, a little olive oil, and a little salt, and all of this comes together with under 5 ingredients. So now let's get started spatchcocking our chicken. Like I said, it can be a little bit intimidating, but it's actually much easier than you think. You're going to take your very sharp kitchen scissors and you are going to cut your first little notch right on the right side or left side, depending on which side you cut first, of the chicken backbone. And that was super easy. And now we'll just repeat again now that we can see on the other side and that side has been exposed. And we will just cut again. It might require just a smidge of force, but it should glide through pretty easily. Now you can flip your chicken and bam, look at that, pretty bird. So we've moved our chicken to the rack, and the rack again here is really important because it is going to ensure that you get all of that good air circulation underneath and around the bird. Another reason why I think spatchcocking is just a really valuable skill for home cooks to have, like in their back pocket, is that it is also going to ensure really even cooking. I feel like you get a much juicier bird in a shorter amount of time because you're not spending all that time kind of waiting for the center to cook. You've sort of eliminated like that space for it to get soggy, and you just end up with a really beautiful golden brown, juicy bird. So now we're just going to give our chicken a squeeze of olive oil and we'll rub that in. And we'll do the skin side and the inside of the bird with just a little bit of that leftover olive oil. Get all of the wings. And then I will just wash my hands. It's very important when you're handling raw meat, especially poultry, to wash your hands between any sort of contact with it. So I'm gonna wash my hands, be right back, and then we'll get to salting. And now we're going to liberally salt our chicken. And to prevent cross-contamination, I'm just gonna use my other hand to flip this over. And give her a good crunchy, crispy coating of salt. Bam! Now she's ready for the oven. So we're about halfway done. Our chicken has been roasting for the last 25 minutes at 425, and as you can see, it started to take on some really beautiful golden brown color. So the really cool thing about using a rack is that you end up with these gorgeous drippings down at the bottom of your pan. Make sure to save those. We'll be using them and sort of mixing them with our barbecue sauce to make a really beautiful drizzle at the end. So now we'll be moving on to our potatoes, and we'll just be adding a little glug of olive oil and some salt and a squeeze of our tangy barbecue sauce. I love our tangy BBQ so much. It's sweetened with dates, and it's got plums, no added sugar. It's really very beautiful, and like it has like a sort of zippy, well, tanginess to it that I really appreciate, that I feel like is pretty non-traditional in the barbecue space. So we'll just give our potatoes a quick toss. We've got our salt, our olive oil, our BBQ. So now that our potatoes are all mixed, I'm just putting them back in on the rack. so that they can cook for about 30 minutes. But before we do that, we'll also add a good little squeeze of our tangy BBQ to our chicken. Oh, our BBQ smells so good. So you'll notice that we put our sauce on about halfway through because we really want to get the crisp on our chicken first. It's very important to sort of establish your texture baseline before you add any sauce. Not that it wouldn't crisp up anyway, but I think this just helps when you want to get that really beautiful crunchy golden texture. So we'll add a squeeze, and just using the back of a spoon, we're going to rub our chicken with our tangy BBQ sauce. Okay, so we've got our chicken all dressed up in its barbecue sauce, and it's ready to go back in the oven for the final 30 minutes of cooking. She's pretty, huh? Like she's a cute chicken. Like I would take her out, all right? So our chicken is out of the oven, our potatoes are cooked. They're a little crispy on the edges and also very hot. Okay, whoopsie. All right, so there you have it. Our beautiful BBQ roasted spatchcocked chicken with fingerling potatoes. Thank you so much to our friends at ButcherBox for this gorgeous chicken. For more details about ButcherBox, click the link below. As you can see, this recipe was super easy, came together with only 5 ingredients in under an hour. This is definitely one of those set it and forget it sort of recipes. You just kind of check back in through the halfway mark, and then boom, you've got a beautiful dish to feed your family. It's great for a crowd, great for friends, and it really is, I mean, I hate to say finger licking good, but you will be licking your fingers. If you enjoyed this recipe, be sure to like this video and subscribe to see our future cooking videos. For the full recipe and textable shopping list, click the link in our description. Thank you so much for watching, and cook happy.